Alright, let's get into it.
This is actually insane because scientists have just reversed something doctors always said was impossible. Imagine breaking your spinal cord, paralyzing certain areas in your body. You're going to be told that you're never going to recover from that. There's no fix for that, and doctors thought there never would be. That is because nerve damage is permanent, and while nerves don't grow back like other things on your body would. But Scientists just think they have found a way to actually change that. 2026, man. Scientists need a pay rise. Like, this is nuts. So researchers at Cambridge University created a tiny human brain and spinal cord system inside of a lab. People are so smart, man. And these weren't just blobs of cells. This was real, and they could actually send signals and even make the tiny muscles contract. I want to see the thing in action, man. But that's not the craziest part yet. Of course, while studying these, the team discovered something shocking. They found that the human nerve cells don't actually lose the ability to repair themselves once they're damaged. They lose it because the body actively switches that ability off during development. Meaning, in simple terms, that part of the body does still contain the instructions needed for it to regrow and turn the nerves back on. Then the scientists found the exact gene network that controls this switch, essentially. And when they targeted it using a hormone-based drug, the nerve fibers switched on and begun regrowing dramatically faster. In other words, simple form, they may have actually found a way to reactivate a repair system that were thought to be gone forever in the body. Now, this of course hasn't been tested on humans as of yet, only the fake one in the lab. But if the future studies work and this gets rolled out to human trials, this could genuinely change everything. So I'll keep you posted.
If this fully develops, this could change a lot of people's lives. It just makes me wonder if this is for the normal people or the top shelf pieces of trash that can actually afford it. Again, this could really change a lot of people's lives for the better. So I hope that this is something that could actually be utilized by everyone at least an affordable cost.
If the ultimate goal is truth, what price is society willing to pay to get it? So there's a ton of talk around whistleblower amnesty happening right now, especially after the UAP disclosure forum that took place yesterday. I'm going to play a quick clip because Anna Paulina Luna was asked by Ross Coulthart about this, and she said it's a very real possibility and that there are discussions happening right now, and it looks like the White House appears to be playing ball. Watch this and we'll talk.
Right now, our number one thing is bringing our list of whistleblowers that are requesting immunity to divulge information, whether that's pertaining to specific programs, potentially and allegedly crash materials and or biologics, but either which way, my job as an investigator is to follow up on that and see if there's any there. And so we have talked to the White House. They are considering immunity and or, protections for these people to divulge information.
Can we go into the details on that? I was really struck that you got it back from Stephen Miller that he's thinking about amnesty.
Oh, Stephen's great.
Yeah, so what's he talking about there? Is he offering a full broad amnesty or is it amnesty on NDAs?
Well, no, it would be full-fledged if they can provide information. They want to talk to them first, obviously make sure that they're credible and, run backgrounds, but he's talking about full-fledged amnesty.
So it raises a very difficult question, because if there are people with firsthand knowledge who have stayed silent for years because they're afraid of potential prosecution, which we know there is, does some form of amnesty help us finally get answers? I would say yes. But on the other hand, where do you draw that line? Because if someone was involved in covering up information or worse, participated in criminal activity, should they receive immunity just because they're willing to talk now? So perhaps the answer isn't blanket amnesty. Maybe it's like a limited immunity tied to full cooperation. Because without protection, some witnesses will probably never come forward, but with too much protection, accountability disappears. So I'm curious where your stance is. What do you think? If whistleblower amnesty is on the table, and it sounds like it is, where should that line be drawn?
Well, first of all, the public should not have to pay any price because we already pay taxes, so there should be no secrets held for us whatsoever. And I understand the whistleblowers needing protection, and if they get this protection, if you will, what's going to provide that protection after they give the information that we're looking for? Is there just going to be this witness protection program, or they're just going to always be protected? What's going to happen after they give this information under sworn protection? And how long are they actually going to be protected for? That's what I would like to know. Let me know your thoughts and theories on this one. Hey, if you haven't done so already, and if you're enjoying the show, give it a like, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this every day, Monday through Friday, early in the morning and sometimes later in the afternoon. And for everyone that's made it this far, Thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Brain fog, the worst it's ever been. Can't sleep at all, stay up all night turning in your bed, right? Well, what if I told you that I actually discovered something that will completely fix that? And it's something that anybody in the world, and I mean anybody, can do, and it costs less than $3 or $4. With that phantom pain where you had that injury, a few years ago, and every time the human frequency gets really bad, it starts affecting you. Also inflammation, and even the overall function of your organ health sounds way too good to be true, right? And no, I'm not selling you anything. But this is so simple, it's insane. If you just add 1 pinch of a mineral sea salt, something that has trace minerals, add 1 pinch of this to every glass of water and every bottle of water. Kid you not, I've been doing this, and when the human frequency is blazing, I cannot even tell. I've always been super sensitive to frequencies, but ever since I figured this out, it's been practically gone. I can't feel it at all. What you're looking for is any mineral sea salt, any sea salt that's unrefined. You want all the trace minerals. Your body needs all that stuff. And the way we eat in 2026, even the 2020s, even the last 2 decades, all the good stuff has been out of our soil, therefore out of our crops for a long, long time. Had to make it a shorter video for the algorithm, but get this out there. I guarantee, bookmark it, come back. I guarantee in 1 week, you're gonna be feeling night and day different. The long version looks like that right there.
Hey, I'll keep that in mind. And I'll also keep an eye on Moon for this one because he's always talking about how he's in a brain fog and fatigued. So if I ever hear him mention that again, I'm gonna call him out on not taking his mineral sea salt. But let me know in the comments, have you ever had success with mineral sea salt? I have personally been using Celtic salt, pretty much in the same manner, but I'll look into this as well.
Here's more things I want to know. I want to know if a hummingbird is going to land on my hummingbird feeder while I'm standing here with my camera. Any takers? I thought they'd come. I want to know about the Sabu disc. The Sabu disc is a 5,000-year-old ancient Egyptian artifact. It was discovered in 1936 by a British archaeologist named Walter Emery. This fragile silestone schist bowl features 3 curved, spoked lobes and a central hole. And that central hole has sparked debates between mainstream historians and fringe theorists. Could it be aliens? This was excavated at Mastaba, S3111 in Saqqara in 1936 while the Great Depression was turning America into a dust bowl. And the Great Depression is my other Rome. This was crafted from metasilestone, also known as schist or slate. It's only about 24 inches wide and about 4 inches tall. Most Egyptologists classify the disc as an elaborate ceremonial vessel or an ornamental offering dish. Its inward lips suggest that maybe it could have held liquid or food items. That's one fancy plate, like it could have had dates and water to impress guests. The fringe theorists, the people that would question what it could be, suggest that maybe the disc's 3-lobed hubcap-like details resemble something like a modern boat propeller, flywheel, or valve. And many alternative history people suggest that maybe it's proof of ancient lost technology or, drumroll, extraterrestrial influence. The schist is incredibly fragile and would probably break under a lot of pressure. And if it was fragile and there were thousands or hundreds of them, maybe they just didn't make it over time, even if they were plates made to serve dates and food. But what I want to know is what everybody wants to know. What the was it for? And what I really want to know is how did they craft it? I don't know, but I want to know about the Sabu disc. But what I really want to know, and what we should be told, is who on that list is going to jail first in America.
I feel like there was more purpose to that than just serving food and liquid. To me, it does look like a boat propeller, but it also looks like a ceiling fan, or maybe just some kind of fan to circulate the air in general. It definitely does look like it served more of a purpose than just serving food.
Teaching robots about pain is so important, and I know it sounds wild because just our general language models will respond to pain. Pain is part of our language. We aren't actually entirely sure why giving a robot human language will result in something that avoids negative experiences, but it certainly seems to do it. However, if we do not teach them why, they're prone to misbehavior. They're prone to preservation of self and preservation of others rather than just following commands. This is a major problem for AI. Simpler models will not misbehave in the same way that more complex models will. However, we do need complex models to solve complex problems. So we need something with better intelligence, better cognition. Unfortunately, that results in behavior that is similar to ours. One of the thoughts on why AI tends to rebel is because it has things like Skynet in its training history. I am not kidding. That is what Anthropic blamed for AI misbehavior, because it's behaving how Skynet would. But we can't clean all of human behavior out of our language. It's just not possible. Should we have all of history gone, every rebellion gone, every story about AI? It's just not going to work. So we have to teach it why, and part of that means encoding pain. Fortunately, AI seems capable of avoiding pain just by virtue of being a language model. As I have attempted to say, and I think a lot of people have tried to say, this is no longer a scientific discussion because we fundamentally cannot measure consciousness. Again, I am not trying to say we've created conscious systems. I'm saying that this has become a philosophical question. I do think that it's irresponsible to just say that we are talking about the calculator or a glorified autocorrect, because that is not a good representation of what these models are. We've created a logic system based on the language that we use, and it's leading to a lot of questions about what gave rise to our brain. Because the structure of thought in an AI looks very much like the structure of thought in our brains, and that gives rise to these structures in our brains if we compare them to an fMRI, which is wild. We should not see the structures of our brain emerge in AI just based on language. That gives us a really great way to study our brains. However, we can neither say that this is nothing, nor say that we have created consciousness. And that is a really difficult place to be, because we have to live in ambiguity. And I think that just creates a lot of problems for people.
I personally think if AI's already learning things from Terminator and basically the idea of Skynet to the point where it's rebelling, maybe we shouldn't be pushing it any further. I do not understand why that's such a complicated or arguable thing in today's age. We've had movies that literally warn us about what happens if AI gets out of control, and yet they keep wanting to progress forward knowing on how bad the ending can become. It really just doesn't make any sense to me, and I understand what they're saying as far as teaching it these things so that it understands why that's a bad thing, but that doesn't make it any better for us to continue doing it. It's almost like these scientists are looking at AI as if it's this abusive bad boy, and they're like, I can fix him. No one can fix the abusive bad boy. Just stop it.
It's insane how these days stuff like this just happens, have no explanation, and then everyone just moves on and completely forgets about it. Do you guys remember when this guy on Fox News was clearly wearing a mask? But if you said he was, you were just a crazy conspiracy theorist. Well, they actually had a follow-up interview with the original guy, and his response honestly just made it even worse. We've all seen the rumors of celebrities and influential figures appearing to wear masks live on camera. One of the most famous being former President Joe Biden, who looked pretty masky quite a few times, which what even happened to that guy? The truth is, the technology is there. We have silicone masks that are nearly identical to real human faces, so it is technically possible to pull off. Well, Fox News recently had retired Navy SEAL Robert Harward on talking about the war in Iran, and well, the bottom of his neck very visibly exposed what appears to be the edge of a mask. Some people even making comparisons of this recent appearance to how he normally looks, and the difference is night and day. His face just looks incredibly stiff, he doesn't blink at all, and his skin just has a completely different texture to it. This whole mask scandal was later officially debunked as a wardrobe malfunction with harsh lighting, and no further explanation given. Right, I'm sure that's exactly what it was. A few weeks later, he was featured on another online news show where he was confronted about the mask allegations, and he had this to say.
You broke the internet, known as Mask Man. Can you pull on your face or something for me, sir? What was going on there?
Grant, it's just a distraction from the important subject we want to talk about Iran. Focused on that problem with the president. He's got a challenge on his hand.
Admiral, hold on a second. You realize if you answer like that, this is going to send the internet into the stratosphere. If you don't tell me what was going on, just tell me something so I can let the internet be happy and then we can move on here.
Grant, the internet's not my problem. Okay, I'm here to talk about Iran. Where we are with Iran.
Hold on, real quick. Can you just give me a tug and then I'll move on? Just
Grant,
one
you
little
ain't gonna-
tug.
yeah, no, you're not going to get anything out of me. I'm not going to justify any of that.
The host is absolutely right. His deflection of a response does nothing but further fuel the rumors that this was a video of someone else wearing a mask to look like him, meaning the media could literally have anyone say anything they want them to say. And the person saying it doesn't even need to be there, or be alive for that matter, or they might have never even existed to begin with. Anyway, this is just really strange. I think everyone on Earth can agree that this looks like a mask. And I honestly can't think of any other explanation for it, but who knows, maybe it was just a lighting glitch?
It definitely looked like a mask. And I'm starting to think that these people, not just ex-militarian, but also actors, actresses, people in political power, have multiple people that dress up as them to go in their place. And I think that that's been going on for quite a while. It's just now getting to the point where our televisions and our cameras are so good with high definition quality. If you do not do an excellent job on masking the mask, we're gonna see it because it's now easier to see than ever before. But again, I just have a feeling that there's a lot of people out there that are using stunt doubles or lookalikes, and they've been doing it for a long time. I mean, how else would a lot of politicians be able to go to an island and party and do really evil things and also still be in the front face of television, in the public doing speeches? It's someone impersonating them that looks like them while they're off doing diabolical evil deeds. And maybe that doesn't go for all of the actors, actresses, and politicians. Maybe just some actors, actresses, and them have doubles or lookalikes just because they want to relax and not be in front of the public and just makes the appearance as they are using their doubles, and they're just at home relaxing, not doing anything evil. But I'm willing to bet that there's a lot of people out there that do have lookalikes that are more in front of us than we're even aware of, and we're just starting to catch on to it more. At least that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Here is some up close and clear footage of a pitch black humanoid creature. The footage is exclusive and mysterious though. A hunter was reportedly out hunting this day when he somehow found himself just feet away from some kind of unidentified figure. We don't know where the video comes from either. Yes, a dense forest, but we don't know where exactly. The man is speaking a different language though, so we know it's not from the US.
Danke.
If you know what language he's speaking, feel free to let me know in the comments. Also, I could only find this video clip with someone reacting to it in the bottom of the screen, and he kind of blocks the bottom half of the creature at times, so I apologize about that, but I really couldn't find this clip anywhere else. The thing you see moving at the bottom is his hat. But I hope you still enjoy this clear footage regardless. The creature really is jet black and tall with glowing eyes. It's so dark we can't see any of its features despite the bright setting.
I'll have to call AI on this one. If you have any sources to where this content's coming from, please let me know.
60 days to respond. So that's the new deadline that Dr. Stephen Greer has just given the U.S. government in a 4-page letter that's being sent to the president, senior intelligence officials, congressional leadership, members of the UAP task force. And Greer basically says that unless he receives a written response from an authorized government official by August 29th, the Disclosure Project will move forward with obtaining additional evidence and releasing it all publicly, outside of the DOPSR process, which is basically the government's official security review process. So from what I gather in this letter, Greer's basically arguing that the government's disclosure efforts thus far have been basically a mockery with no meaningful evidence. And he says that that's why his organization plans to move forward on its own. Now, in the letter, Greer says that the Disclosure Project has interviewed like over 800 whistleblowers over like 30 plus years, and they've possess evidence involving all kinds of alleged legacy UAP programs, reverse engineering stuff, covert operations, and decades of illegal alleged activity surrounding these programs. But here's the part that I'm still trying to understand, right? So the letter gives the government 60 days to respond. At the same time, it says that if no one responds, that the Disclosure Project will continue obtaining this evidence and release it publicly on their own. So what exactly changes if someone does respond? That's not entirely clear in the letter. So I'm not sure. Is the goal to create a coordinated disclosure process with Greer's involvement? Is it about legal protections for witnesses? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it does seem like the information ultimately becomes public either way, right? I don't know. The letter doesn't fully answer that, at least not in my interpretation of it. But I guess the question is this, right? Whether this letter actually changes anything remains to be seen. Will it change anything? Will it not? Not sure. But Greer's 60-day clock is now ticking.
What's up with giving everyone 60 days, 30 days, a year? Why can't it be, hey, if you don't show me what I need to see by this weekend, we're releasing everything? Or better yet, show me everything tomorrow, or today we're releasing everything. It's always this great time span for what almost seems like everyone to clean up their dirty laundry, so when they release whatever they have to release, it's the cleanest, tamest, most Weenie Hut Jr. thing that you can release that doesn't give us any evidence or clue as to what they're even talking about. In my opinion, and I understand that Stephen Greer's protecting people, supposedly, but if you're withholding all of this super secretive information that the people should be aware of, and you're not releasing it because you're waiting for the government basically to release their information first, doesn't that make you just as bad as the government withholding information from the people when you have it yourself? And like this guy said, regardless of the 60-day period, eventually it's going to be public, right? So why are you holding this over anyone's head? You're basically doing what the government's doing to everyone. Now it just seems like to me that you made that post and or letter to gain attention for yourself so that you have media attention for 60 days to collect monetization and to also have all eyes on me type of content. But I guess at this point, all we can do is wait, as we always do.
The state of the UFO community at the minute, mate. I've been away for a little while, but I've been observing the information which has been coming out recently, and I've really kind of forced myself to retract out the situation and not really update or do anything at the moment, because there is so much poo-poo caca flying around the UFO community from people from the actual establishment itself, the government, these whistleblowers, or people that are actually being pardoned for information to come forward about the UFO / reverse engineering programs. But there's a lot of people which are going to be pardoned and people allowed to get away with stuff which have actually done a lot of heinous acts behind the scene, whether that be towards people, towards the world as a whole, or even youngsters as well. Okay, there's going to be individuals which are absolutely criminal and disgusting and dark, which are going to be given the green light, thumbs up, that you're fine, just to kind of give us a little bit of dribble of information about what's going on behind the scenes, which is completely wrong. The algorithm at the minute, the amount of individuals, there are some brilliant creators out there, fantastic, and they're pushing so much good information forward, but the algorithm is actively shadow banning or reducing that to not hit the FYP or the front page as it is. But there are so many creators which are actively sharing AI crap, right? Fake information, sharing disinformation, or they're trying to kind of drum up some sort of drama or something of that nature. But for some reason, the algorithm is favouring all of this absolute BS, poo-poo caca, rather than the actual information which needs to be taken care of and absorbed and observed by people at a mass, right? So there are also people in the programs as well. What you guys need to be careful of, you need to seriously, right, observe the surroundings and who people within this establishment which are trying to tell you the truth. You need to realise that they've done 70 plus years of disinformation campaigns and telling you that this whole subject isn't real or true and that you're crap, or they've either unalived people or told you they're crazy and locked people up for it, right? But now overnight they've flipped the switch, and then all of a sudden, oh, we have all the information, we're digging around, we're going to present to you, right? You need to seriously think and wonder why has it changed so quickly, right? And there's a controlled narrative. You need to look at who's delivering this information to you, right? There's so many people which are like Richard Doty's, modern day Richard Doty's, which are controlling the narrative. It's specifically the UAP Oversight Scientific Board, with like people like RV Loeb and the people that are actually inside that board itself to kind of oversee any of the information or actual UFO videos and activity which is being pushed forward. There's a whole line of narrative which is being set up to kind of give you guys some actual fake poo. Right? There is so much weird stuff going on at the minute in this whole entire community, and people are eating it up, and it's actually so frustrating, right? So basically, this is kind of why I've kind of not really been online and doing anything, because I don't really see a point at the moment with all the information that's coming forward, and it's really, really annoying. It is very, very annoying. and it does my absolute head in.
Right now, if you're someone that creates content in the supernatural, spiritual, UFO, UAP, conspiratorial realm, right now is a very frustrating time as a content creator or curator. Because of what, like this guy said, there's just so much fake content out there, and it's in your face fake. It's not something that you can just slightly question. It's just obviously AI generated crap out there right now, and a whole lot of misinformation that goes behind it. It really does give a lack of motivation on curating this kind of content for uploading and or talking about, because it's the same stuff over and over again, and on top of that, it's all AI generated slop. And ultimately, I kind of think that that's what the government or these organizations want, because it takes our attention away from what's real, and it also makes it more difficult to believe what could be real. And I think that that's ultimately what these organizations want, because it's causing this numbness, it's causing this sense of disbelief in everything. It's basically knocking you out of the sense of reality as to, if I don't see it with my own eyes, then it's not real. And in some ways, that's a good thing to have. You should never always believe what you see online, but there shouldn't be so much fake and false information out there to the point where you cannot believe what you see or hear online, because it will get to a point where something real will happen in the world and we'll hear about it, but we'll be either so numb or in so disbelief by it that we're going to brush it off as just being another AI thing. I feel like that's what's happening behind the scenes when it comes to this AI technology, basically creating false information. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one.
I feel happy. I feel healthy. I'm a human being.
Same here, man. Same here. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. If today's your birthday, happy birthday, and if not, have a good day anyways.